Qualifier weekend, there it is. Let's jump on in. We're trying to get to 7 match wins before 2 losses. Very, very difficult to do with these sealed decks. We only get one shot at it. It's not like the open. But let's give it a try. Well, we've got a little Kayla theme deck here, so maybe. There's 4 more rares that we haven't seen, so let's hope those are good. Okay. Oh, we have Takasia's Welcome. That's definitely a good rare. That plus Kayla's Reconstruction. And we have Kayla herself. So there might be a Spice Ball, low to the ground, cheap creatures deck in here somewhere. Oh, okay. Those are 2 of the rares that we didn't see. Gix's Command and Gixian Puppeteer. So they were hiding all the good cards in the unseen pile of rares. Definitely we have to play black. Those cards are better than basically everything else we have seen. If we look at our golden commons, we have some good ones. A Yoshin Dissident, a Junkyard Genius. There's a Howling Mine and 2 Sidonal Stalwarts, so maybe that's an option. Let's see. In green, there's a couple Gaia's Coursers if we think we're going to go long. Red doesn't have much. It has some Race to the Grounds and a couple Unleash Shells. So it's not like super aggro and doesn't look to have very many controlling elements. So from what I've seen, that's probably like our weakest color. We got our Thran Spider. We have a Tower Worker, but no other components. We have a Well of Lost Dreams. All right, so I'm wondering if black-white, like Small Things, is a deck. I kind of skipped over blue. Blue doesn't have a ton here. It has a few good cards, but nothing like incredible. Nothing to draw me to the color. I'm just going to start with the black cards because I think it just has our best cards. Like, all these are pretty decent. And then the question is, are we playing base green-black, or are we playing white-black? So, Takasia's Welcome, mana value is 3 or less. There's not actually a lot of that in black, so it would have to come from white. And actually, there's just Survivor. We have to play some pretty bad cards to make Takasia's Welcome good. So that's a bit of a problem, actually. And like I said, we kind of have to play... We have to play black because it has our best cards. We have Removal, we have Sweepers, we have the Puppeteer, we have Rager with Moment of Defiance, we have Thraxodemons. We actually have a few ways to trigger the Gixian Puppeteer as well. In white, we have the Prison Sentence if we want some more removal. The Paratrooper's quite good. Cavalry's quite good. I will note we have a lot of 5-drops, so Aeronaut Cavalry gives a little bit less to this deck than it would in a different deck. Though No One Left Behind isn't super exciting, so me saying there's there's all these 5-drops, that one we don't necessarily have to count. I wonder what base green, and also Gaia's Courser is a little bit worse if we're looking at, like, black has a lot of spells, so that's not going to be, I think, the best either. This is pretty tricky because black is really, really good. And then our other colors is kind of like, well, okay, I'm going to try to build green-black first with Sidonal Stalwarts and see how that goes. I think it might actually be pretty decent given what we're seeing here. Oh, we do have Mine Worker, just not the Power Plant Worker. I think Thran Spider's solid. Oh, you know, if I played Takasia's Welcome, I could play a lot of the artifact creatures that help us enable it. So that's still an option. I have quite a few cheap artifact creatures. So let's not discount that quite yet. Aeronaut's Wings, if I want to go up the top, we want to remember that card. Okay, so Sidonal Stalwarts, Confrontation, Opportunist. Those are all solid. It's sort of playing green to accelerate more than anything else. I think this card is good in sealed, even if we don't have a ton of legends, or any legends. but I'm not sure on that. The Howling Mine Sentinel Stalwart is just incredibly powerful. So if we can play both of those, it's quite good. Killzone Acrobat doesn't really have a place in this deck at all. Rust Goliath with No One Left Behind is a good combo. So we could just play this card, and then if it dies, we bring back a 10/10. Shoot Down. Shoot Down's also just very good and sealed. I think I don't have that much removal, and it basically answers anything for 4 mana. Well, I have a decent amount of removal, but I think more removal might be decent altogether. I don't have a lot of creatures, so this Sentinel Stalwart is a little bit awkward, like early cheap plays, but I do happen to have another 3 cheap artifacts with it, so it's a little better than it looks. Or I could play a Goblin Firebomb over the Shoot Down, because it taps for the Stalwarts early. I could also play a Mine Worker. Play that. Stone Retrieval Unit, not really what I'm doing, not ramping to that much, I don't think. I could play a Juggernaut too. It's not the worst, and I can bring it back to splash, like off the splash. I could splash a Junkyard Genius pretty easily. That's probably a good card to put in my deck. I could splash Evangel of Synthesis pretty easily. I can't splash Queen Kayla very easily, unfortunately. I could also splash Yoshin Dissident somewhat easily. The problem with the Yoshin Dissident is I don't have a lot of artifacts, so it gets quite a bit worse. The Skull Player is pretty bad in my deck. It's just a 2/3. There's also Hulking Metamorph is just a pretty good card and a way to go over the top. Things I would want to copy are like Puppeteer, Rager, Trench Stalker is pretty good with it. It might actually be a card worth playing as a 9-drop. Oh, there's a Combat Courier. I should definitely be playing that card. So that just adds another 2 triggers. So I could probably cut the Mine Worker then. 2 triggers for my Yoshin Dissident. Basically want to play almost all my Unearthers. I don't have a ton of huge things with the No One Left Behind at this point, so I'm not that excited about it. And I'm not worrying about my mana base right now, but I can add... If I added the Hulking Metamorph... How's Takasi's Welcome looking right now, actually? I have 14 creatures. So I have 10 creatures that cost 3 or less. Getting better, but I kind of want like all of them to be that way. I could also play green-white, splashing black. But then the problem with that is I lose the Evangel and I lose the Junkyard Genius. So I'm not sure that that's what I want to do. I kind of want to put the Rust Goliath in the deck. Then I have 2... Well, so the reason I want to play Rust Goliath is then I can bring it back with the No One Left Behind if it dies. And it's just fine on 5. And it's something I can play later. The Hulking Metamorph I'm less sure of. How many ways do I have to draw 2 in this deck? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Howling Mine, 5. Howling Mine's huge, actually. Yeah, we got a brew going here. Some good interesting things. This is a kind of a tricky pool to build because it's a bunch of synergies all thrown together. I don't think I can be base green-blue because I don't think the blue provides enough. I think I have enough removal without the prison sentence on the splash, but I don't need it. Maybe the Hulking Metamorph is a little too greedy because I don't think I'm going to be able to double blue it very often. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to be able to No One Left Behind it. This also could bring back like a War Plow, you know, that we trade off early, so at least it gives a 5/4 sometimes. If I just didn't play the Metamorph, then I can play 16 lands with the 2 Stalwarts. That seems reasonable. I also have the Blackblade Reforge if the game goes long. That makes things very large. The Rust Goliath, even in the 3/5 mode with Blackblade Reforge, is very good because then it's a giant trampler. Also really good with Trench Stalker to gain a ton of life. Trying to think what else. This card's awkward, like when your creature just gets chump blocked. But if I have a couple really good things to combo with it, then I'm pretty happy. I don't have the flyers, is the main thing. Moment of Defiance with big things is another reason to Blackblade Reforged. Yeah, I think I'm not going to play the Metamorph. A, because it doesn't have that many combos in my deck. And B, I don't think I'm going to have the double blue. I don't really want to play many islands. I do think Evangel's still good enough on the splash. But maybe that's not true. The thing is, if I have a swamp, Evangel's suddenly like super good off of the stalwarts. I would need stalwart, star, or island to be able to cast it. But then once it's in play, I have the Moment of Defiance and Howling Mine. They can also trigger Puppeteer later. I think that's enough. Alright, I like the core of this deck. I just want to kind of go through and make sure I'm not missing anything at this point. We have 14 creatures. And a last count on Takasia is welcome. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we only have 9 creatures that cost 3 or less. I don't think that's good enough. I think you have to take a whole turn to play this, and then you need to draw at least 3 cards off of it for it to be worth it, I think. Otherwise, it's just a really bad divination that took a long time. And at that point, I'd rather just splash like Third Pass Savant. But we actually have quite a bit of power, so I don't think we need to do that. Gix's command also lets us return creatures. So I think it's kind of stretching when we don't need to. There's a Warlord's Elite, which would be pretty good in this deck if we went more base green-white. It's really good with Howling Mine as well. However, I don't think the white gives us that much. It's the Warlords, the cards I'm not playing in white right now that I think really would help the deck. Warlord's Elite, Takasi's Welcome, Prison Sentence, Ambush Paratrooper, if we went more of the like lean green-white version. But we do lose quite a lot by doing that. I also have 3 Power Stone Makers right here, so I think ramping to some of these bigger things is not going to be impossible. Let me look at the mana base and see how reasonable it is. Do I need any mountains? Maybe the one. I mean, we have the 2 stalwarts. Something like this. The thing about the Junkyard Genius is on the splash, it's not actually that good because I can't play it and activate immediately. So if I cut that, I could cut the mountain and play another forest. So maybe my deck would be a lot better if I don't play this card. My deck's not particularly aggressive with it anyways. So maybe I could just do that. Cut that, and I'm down to 4 color. That gives me 7 black sources. Make sure I always have the Sentinel Stalwart on turn 1 with the 9 forests. I think 16 lands with the 2 stalwarts. In sealed, I do have a lot of expensive cards, so I'm okay still playing 16. I did cut a Power Stone Maker, so I don't really want to add another really expensive card on top of that. Transmogrant Altar, I don't think I have a lot of combos with that, so I'm not going to play that main. What else? I could play a Gaia's Courser, but I don't love it. I could play a Shoot Down like we talked about originally. I don't hate that. Another removal spell would be okay. I could also play a Goblin Firebomb for my Stalwarts early. The only early creatures I have for the Stalwarts, I have Courier, Star, or sorry, activation, things I could use. So the second Stalwart, I have the Courier, Star, Thraxidemon, Reforged, and Howling Mine. So another cheap way to tap my Stalwarts would, I think, help quite a bit. So maybe the answer is Goblin Firebomb over the Shoot Down. The problem is the Firebomb's kind of a bad card. But maybe it's just good enough. Or I could play like a Mine Worker. It's a little weak on its own though. Now this last ad is kind of tricky. Oh, I have the War Plow also that I can tap early. That helps quite a bit. The real question is, am I just gonna flood out? I don't think so. I have a few mana sinks. I have the Thraxidemon, I have the Blackblade Reforged. I have the Thran Spider's not great. I don't have that many artifacts. I have 8, but that's something. I have the 13 creatures. Oh, yeah, only 8 artifacts with the Ocean Dissident. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't be playing the Dissident. It's my only white card. I could be playing Junkyard Genius over the Dissident. That might actually be better because I'm trying to play my cheap artifacts before even getting the Dissident down. Yeah, 8 artifacts is really actually quite bad. I have Gothian Opportunist as an extra artifact. That's about it. And this gives me another gain piece with the Power Stone for the Power Stone Fracture. Yeah, I think this is just a little too weak in my deck. That's probably a better splash. And then I can still add, and that's good because that was putting a lot of pressure on my deck. Because I want to play the Ocean Dissident on turn 2 if possible. Whereas this can come down a little bit later. So my stalwarts don't need to have a 1 or 2 drop, so then I don't have to play Goblin Firebomb as much. And so now I could actually probably just put the shoot down in the deck. And I think that's going to give our deck a lot more staying power. Because now I have a lot of answers to all the bombs of the format. We got Power Stone Fracture, we have the Epic Confrontation with, you know, some creatures. Although, honestly, Epic Confrontation is kind of bad in this deck. But I do have the Death Touch creature, I have the Evangel. This one fights pretty well with Epic Confrontation because it's got a big butt already. It's pretty good with Argothian Opportunist, turn it into a 4/4. So I think it's still probably good enough. Good with this one too. So I have enough cards I think Epic Confrontation is good with. We do only have the 13 creatures, so it's a little bit iffy. I guess I could cut it for another creature. Because I have Disfigure for cheap things, and then I have quite a bit of removal for big things, like I said, Power Stone Fracture, Shoot Down, Overwhelming Remorse, Gix's Command. That's a good number of cards. So maybe this is the weakest piece. Although I have Blackblade Reforge, it's very good with that later in the game. Like, stick this on anything, kill anything. Maybe that's still good enough. Okay, let's do one more pass. And then I think we'll be good to go. I'm not splashing any white cards right now, and I think that's okay. I'm not playing any blue cards. I could splash the Might Stones animation, but I think I don't have enough Power Stones for that. And they're already a little bit stretched. I guess if I didn't play Junkyard Genius, I could actually play Hulking Metamorph instead, add an island, cut a mountain. That would let me play Evangel in 2 more frequently, and have another thing for No One Left Behind, and the double blue. That might actually be better. I guess, what are the things I'm copying with this? I could copy another Howling Line if I have Silent Stalwart. That could be kind of cool. Or copy Evangel. Boring Warplow is a 3/3. I'll go through. I mean, I have good things to copy. Gixian Puppeteer. Maybe that's actually better. I like this card quite a bit. But again, I need to be able to play it to splash. So if I cut that, this is better with No One Left Behind. And then I could cut this and play another island. I'm more likely to play this early, just by drawing the island and the swamp. Or if I draw island and not swamp, Sentinel Stalwart can tap for black to play Evangel. That's a possibility. And then this gets a lot better with the No One Left Behind, because now I have 2 good targets for it. Yeah, I think that actually improves my deck quite a lot. I could also splash Weakstone Subjugation if I want more removal. I could play it instead of the Epic Confrontation, but we just added a big creature to our deck, so I think this actually gets quite a bit better. Yeah, this is just a better change. I think the Junkyard Genius is just a little too greedy for this deck. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this build, I think. Let's go ahead and play some games. Alright, not an amazing hand, but I mean, it's definitely fine. Notably, this is best of 3, so we don't have any hand smoothers, that kind of thing, so this hand actually looks quite a bit better than it might look in like a best of 1 game, where you kind of have to just be happy with having your lands and spells. I think I'm going to play the Warplow, because then we get the Epic Confrontation online in a bit. The question is, do I crack the star? Maybe I should just crack the star. Crack it for blue. That way if I draw the Evangel, I can play it. And then if not, I could go on Warplow. I could just wait a turn, though. Cracking for blue is a little bad in case I draw the Evangel the following turn. I guess I'm just going to play this. I'm not that close to 6 mana, so I think waiting is a little bit bad. Alright, there's our Stalwart. So now I can easily tap for other colors. So let's tap for blue. And then play our Swamp and play a Stalwart. This will let us get Rust Goliath online next turn. They're playing like white-black grindy. Probably. Which means they probably have a lot of removal, which is a little bit concerning. Oh, that's good. So they can start turboing out their 3/3s here. So the Transmogrant Altar is probably going to do a lot of work for them. But we might just kill their 3/3 if they go for the Altar. And attack for 5 on our turn. That would be pretty good. Notably, we're kind of out of gas at this point. Like, I've dumped my hand on the board, which is kind of the problem with playing the Warplow early. However, if we hadn't done that, like, I think I'm still supposed to kill the 3/3 attack all. Trading the Warplow is kind of bad, but they're going to turn their creature into a 3/3 anyways with the Power Stone Engineer. So the Transmogrant Altar changes the course of this game quite a bit. And we are flooding out at this point, which is kind of bad. But being aggressive here does also just buy us more time to draw like Black Blade Reforged. And if I draw No One Left Behind, we can bring back a 5/4, so that's pretty decent too. They do have a lot of Power Stones, so this Transmogrant Altar can just go off, which is a little bit scary. And that's a pretty decent draw. See, I don't have, well, I have a decent double block this turn with the Rust, Goliath, and Thraxodemon, but if they have any way to punish that double block, it's pretty scary, and I can just wait a turn and then chump. Alright, so if they have that, yeah, now I don't have a good double block anymore. We'll just take 6, hopefully we draw out of this. I can go for the Moment of Defiance and just trade with the Boulder Branch Golem. I'm still going to play my land. If I draw another land plus like Blackblade or Forge, something like that, then I'm going to want to be able to equip next turn. Unfortunately, it is just a straight up trade, but it's still just a 1-for-1 at that point. Moment of Defiance on defense is pretty bad. Well, I could double block the Warlord's Elite now, and we can see what they're going to do. And I can then Moment of Defiance next turn. The problem is if they have, like, Overwhelming Remorse, and they kill my Rust Goliath, but I think I'm losing that game anyways. That's a problem. Well, hopefully we draw No One Left Behind and make a 10-10. I'm not going to cash in the Moment of Defiance in case we can use it to play a creature and then gain some life here. Alright, now I'm just going to cycle it. Alright. Oh, we lost this one, unfortunately. They have a pretty good pool. I didn't really see a lot of black cards. In fact, I didn't see any. I'm not sure what their black is for. And like I said, we did flood out, but I don't know if there's a lot I can do about that in this deck. I have the Blackblade Reforged, I have the Thran Spider. I have some expensive cards. I have the Thraxodemon I drew, so I don't really know. I'm only playing 16 lands. I don't think I should be playing 15. I think it's just kind of like we just drew all lands all game. That sometimes happens. If I had gone for the Moment of Defiance the turn before and traded with the 6/5, maybe we'd been in better shape. But it wasn't really a good winning strategy long, so I think I'm okay with my play there. They do have just a ton of removal. I'm wondering, maybe I should be playing Gaia's Coursers against them. If they just plan to kill everything we play, this card gets a lot of value. The Warplow was kind of terrible, because they have a bunch of, like, 2/1s. This card just, in general, is pretty bad, but it is good with Stalwarts. Do I want Shoot Down? It could kill their key combo pieces, so it's still pretty good. Bench Stalker's still pretty good. Maybe I don't need the epic confrontation. I'd rather just have some more big things. I'm a little worried about getting like flood on the big things. Maybe I want to play another thing that we can just plop down and use to ramp. So like I could just play like a tower worker to ramp to 5. I think that's decent. And it also taps for the stalwart. Because I am putting more 5-drops in my deck, which changes sort of the nature of the curve out. Tower worker isn't a card that can kill with it is a card that they can just kill, but I think it's still good. I think Gaia's Courser is like particularly good against them because they have a bunch of kind of smallish creatures. And 4/5 body's just really big. Still gonna play first. Yeah, this hand's okay. Not great. The good news is if they do kill my tower worker on turn 3 with Excavation Explosion, then suddenly the Gixian Puppeteer gets a lot better. Because it'll have a creature that we can bring back. So I kind of almost hope that that happens. Ooh, Howling Mine might be good later. Yeah, hopefully they just kill that. Alright, all working out. Okay, play this, and then next turn we can Howling Mine, which will trigger the Puppeteer every single turn. They're probably looking for lands. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, they are looking for lands. Okay. Then we're just gonna overflood their hand because they're missing land drops here. I mean, they're gonna get a land the next turn anyways. They might get a land. They might have put 2 lands on top. So let's just Howling Mine. And then hopefully we can draw into some more stuff here. I'm not gonna No One Left Behind a 1/3. And we have drain 2 every single turn for the rest of the game. Unless they want to kill it. And then we can No One Left Behind it. So that's good. I do need to draw some action. But I do get 2 draw steps for it. Alright, we can Overwhelming Remorse. I think I'm going to take 3. And then if they play something really big, then I'll kill that. And if they don't play something really big, I'll kill the Scrapboard Cohort this turn. Because I could simply trade with the 3/1. Alright, if they're doing that, I'm gonna Remorse the Cohort. On deck. Alright, Stalwart's still a good draw because we can turn off the Howling Mine. They have, what, 9 cards in hand? They're going to be able to start playing multiple a turn. Alright, so let's tap our Howling Mine. We finally have this going. Discard our land and play a 4/5. Now we get to draw 2 every single turn. Pretty nice. Yeah, I'll still block. I'm going to block the Engineer, I think. Rather than the Rager, because the Rager draws them more cards. They're just trying to race me at this point. I could double trigger the Puppeteer with star plus Moment of Defiance on blocks. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. Let's attack with the Evangel. And then I could trade Opportunist for the Warlord's Elite or something like that on their turn. And then we'll just be able to drain them out. Yeah, Howling Mine plus Gixian Puppeteer is kind of insane. I think I'm going to block the Rager, because it'll keep the Opportunist in play. I'm going to start with this. And then we're going to Chromatic Star to draw a card before the end of the turn ends, so we can drain again. Gaining 6 was good. Okay, so we can Power Stone Fracture here. That's nice. What do I want to Power Stone Fracture? I guess first things first, I should draw a card. I could Courier, Thraxodemon, and Power Stone Fracture this turn. So I go Courier. I could just get rid of the land, I think. I mean, the Power Stone. Hit the Boulder Branch with this. And then I think attack with the Opportunist. So maybe not. It gives them an extra mana to work with. Yeah, I don't really need to, actually. Alright, we're in pretty good shape here. Saddle Stalwart Howling Mine, just carrying the game. Well, I guess Gixian Puppeteer has done a lot. It's it's dealt like 10 damage and we've gained 10 life. I have to kill it anyways. It's pretty funny. It was good. Black Blade Reforged. Wow. Alright. I mean, it's a 13-13 with Menace. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So they haven't played like any like crazy super bombs yet going into game 3, so that's worth noting. They do have a lot of really good synergy though. Yeah, they have just like kind of like a draft deck, like a ton of just good unearthers. I think I just double block and then draw a card. Because they're going to have to double chump every single turn. Oh, they're going to even just play a 10-10. If I attack with that, I don't need to unearth this turn yet. 10-10 should be plenty good enough. They do make a lot of power stones. Yeah, it's kind of just like Mardu aggro. Multiple bold range golems, okay. And they have really, really good commons. But they haven't really played a bunch of good rares, so something I just need to keep in mind here. Like I said, I think the guys' courses are good. They're pretty bad against Boulder Branch Golem, because those are 6/5s. However, I have the shoot down. They have no one left behind also, so I have to be a little bit careful about trading with the golems. I'm wondering, should I be playing a Goblin Firebomb? Again, they have ways to bring things back. Actually, Epic Confrontation is pretty good with 4/5 versus 6/5, so maybe I should be playing this card. Disfigure... Yeah, they have some good early creatures I need to kill. Like the Officer, the 2/1. I don't think Moment of Defiance is actually very good against them. It triggers the draw twos, but I'm going to be on the draw a lot. Or I'm going to be on the draw this game, and they're beating down a lot. And the creature sizing, +2/+1 is just much worse than +1/+2 against them. I don't really think they have multicolored stuff. I think Exile is super good against them because they have a lot of Unearth. I mean, same thing could be said for the Swift Gear Drake, but I think 2/4 is still pretty weak. I think the plan is still the same. Just play a bunch of 5-drops, basically. That's our plan. It's not the best plan, but it's a plan. This hand is pretty awkward, but the Howling Mind's going to draw us out of it. And then we have Spider, and we have other cards we can play. So I think we're going to keep... I don't think I want to mulligan it. The 2/4 is really good against them, so... Oh, Disfigure helps a lot. Alright, they're kind of dirtling, so my hand's a little less bad at that point. If they ever kill my Howling Mind, it's like kind of a disaster because I drew them an extra card. Should I play Thran Spider, or should I play Sentinel Stalwart? I think the Stalwart, and then we can hold up Disfigure too. If they might also have like Ambush Paratrooper here, because they didn't play anything. Okay, they just did nothing. I feel like they kind of have to kill the Stalwart. And I could even just bring it back. I'm not afraid to do so. Ooh, no land. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm just going to make them kill it again, I think. Just try and turn off their Howling Mind. Yeah, okay, they went up a card on us, but fine. I can't double spell this turn, so I think we just play a Rager. Just to keep hitting land drops. Alright, so I could kill that. If I kill that and make... I think maybe I should just shoot down that, actually. Shoot down and play the Thraxidemon. That's a pretty good use of our mana. And they can't bring it back then. Like, we lose 3 damage by doing that, but also we get our Thraxodemon online, we can start drawing extra cards. And at this point, it's kind of seems to be a war of attrition. Also, if we trade a lot, then our Gaius Courser is just going to draw us a bunch of extra cards later, so that would be quite good. That card is amazing. I could just Opportunist kill it and attack for 5. I think if I attack, they're not going to block. There's no reason to. I'm a little worried about no one left behind here. I did say they hadn't... Well, I mean, they hadn't played any bombs, really, this whole match. So we found their bomb. However, I do have Thran Spider. So Thran Spider plus Disfigure does the job. Alright, so we could... I don't really want to Disfigure here. I'd rather just trade. So I'm going to play... I'm just going to play Trench Stalker and Sidle Stalwart. The 4-5 is really good on the board, so... do that. We'll do this. If I needed a chump, I'd rather chump with the Rager than the Opportunist. That's why I tapped it. I'm not going to block with a Stalwart, I don't think. So I could play Gaius Courser and then double block the Mishra's Juggernaut. That'll turn on the Trench Stalker the next turn when we draw a card. So let's just do that. I'll block with the Rager and a Stalwart, I think. I could trade with the Opportunist, but I'd actually rather just... If they only want to kill one thing, I'd rather block with these two. Because they could have put all the damage on the front creature. But now our Gaius Courser's online. And that's really, really, really good. So we'll attack with these. Ooh, that's a good one too. Alright, so yeah, we are in good shape here. I'm just gonna play another Gaius Courser. And we'll start drawing even more cards every single turn. This card is performing so well this game, I almost wonder if it should be in our main deck, but it's a pretty unique matchup where our opponent is like so low to the ground, but also has a lot of removal. Whereas normally Gaius Courser is so slow, but it just kind of happens to match up perfectly here. I don't think that's a main deck card, but I'm not totally sure. Our deck space is pretty tight. I think we'll just take 5. If I attack with everything, they could eat the Opportunist, but then they can't eat these. So I think that might be worth it. And I could even Disfigure post-combat, so... let's do that. I don't really want to Gix's Command on this board. I don't think it's necessary. That's also pretty good. Alright, so now we get to Disfigure the Mutt. And have all our creatures go through. So our opponent's at 4. We have 7 mana, so I'd have to draw another land to play this next turn and equip. So I'd rather... I'm just going to play this and play Thran Spider. And that way we get our Reforged online next turn. But they'd have to have something pretty crazy to come back from this board, I think. Alright, got our first one. I do want to look at our deck briefly because the Centaur Coursers, our Gaia's Coursers were so good. Again, I think it's a product of the game we just played, like the matchup. Because we already have, like we were playing, I still don't know about this Warplow, but it's good against like grindy matchups and having like the 5/4. I mean, the card's always kind of bad, but it's specifically bad against Power Stone Engineer and Argothian Sprite. Those are kind of its natural enemies, and we did play against one of those. Our opponent had 2 Power Stone Engineers. I do like that it's a cheap card for Stalwart, though, in the main deck. And like I said, I do have a lot of expensive cards already on 5. The Gaia's Coursers I also needed to bring in with a Tower Worker. So we're kind of warping our deck to be able to do that. I think in a typical game, the Metamorph is probably going to be better on a stalled board to copy like a Ranger, a Puppeteer, something like that. A Trench Stalker. Although, the thing I like about the Gaia's Coursers, maybe it's better than Hulking Metamorph, playing one of them. It might be. But we're only playing 13 creatures. So if the games are really grindy, I think it's a better board card than a main deck card. I mean, it was really good. Yeah, I have a lot of 5s. I mean, I could have a hand of all Trench Stalkers and then does nothing. Metamorph also can copy, like, Chromatic Star. I don't know, it just does enough, I think. Or I could cut Moment of Defiance if we're not racing that much. The creature sizing in our deck doesn't matter that much. Having an extra creature might just be better. Our creatures are kind of small, so the Moment of Defiance isn't actually that good. And we kind of trade off a decent amount. So maybe this should just be a Gaia's Courser. That might be better. I could see that being the case, actually. Yeah, and it's one more good target to copy also. Alright, yeah, I think that's quite a bit better. Gets us to the 14 creature mark also. Just having enough creatures to sort of trigger our Gaia's Coursers. And then we play, like, basically our play is, like, getting a Stalwart online and then ramping from 3 to 5 in most games, but we still have some 4s that we could play. Kind of wacky curve, but I think it works. Okay, small change. I just was really impressed with the Coursers, so I'm like, can we maybe get one in there? I don't want to play 2, though, in the main deck. Yeah, keep again. We're missing the Stalwart, but the Howling Mine hopefully can draw us into some things. Although, no, I'm just gonna play Thraxodemon. This play also lets me set up Howling Mine plus Disfigured next turn. And gives me an extra turn to draw a Stalwart. Hopefully I don't have Disenchant. I don't want to block there because A, it gives them Power Stone to keep ramping, and B, my Thraxodemon is more valuable. I really want to hit land drop here, I think. So there's no way for me to use the star and maybe I should, well, if I Evangel, I could discard the Rager and then try and start next turn because I get, but if I star first, I get 2 chances to draw a land, which I think is a little better with the Trench Stalker. I want to get the Trench Stalker down with Howling Mine. So I think I should star first. I guess I'm just going to attack, actually, what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to star. I'm going to tap for black. And then I'm probably going to loot away the Rager. Didn't draw a land, unfortunately. Really want to get the Trench Stalker down. Oh, deck. I kind of want to Power Stone Fracture the Warlord's Elite, but there's nothing, no way for me to do that. Like, profitably. I guess I'm just going to play the 3-2, and I can Power Stone Fracture in the future. Gix's command might be great in a bit, though, where I can basically wipe their whole board. No longer really the case. I guess I could still double block. Maybe it's worth it. That way I'm not just getting blown out. Like, the longer this game goes for me right now, the better, because my hand's so good. I have Blackblade Reforged. I have a lot of good things. I think we just shoot down the flyer. Although I could Power Stone Fracture the flyer, but it doesn't really. All that really lets me do is yeah, I'm gonna shoot down the flyer because I want a Rager plus Power Stone Fracture in the future. And playing a Blackblade Reforged this turn doesn't actually get me very far. And if I attack, they're just gonna block. So I don't really want to do that when I have Gix's command coming up. Also, the Howling Mind makes them want to just dump their hand, so if they can play, like, cheaper cards, that actually makes the Gix's command more powerful. Like, if they play a bunch of small things. Okay, so this turn I could play Stalwart, which will turn off the Howling Mind in the future. Or I could play Stalwart plus Blackblade Reforged plus Overwhelming Remorse. That's pretty good. Or I could just Gix's command this turn, but I think turning off the Mind is going to be better. And then what we can do is just Remorse the Cohort, probably. Like, depending what they do here. And then we can finally turn off this Howling Mine for them. And hopefully the Gix's command becomes even stronger if they play a bunch of small things here. Yeah, that is good. Alright, I'm gonna take 7. So I guess what we do is we Gix's command. And I can either save my creature or get back creatures. Making the Stalwart a 3/3 means I get to keep the Howling Mine train going in the future. I guess getting back creatures doesn't actually do too much here. So, probably just do that. They do get to hit me for a lot, but I'm going to get this Trench Stalker down, and then hopefully that can take over the game. Okay, wow, 4 bottom. Okay, well, that was good value for them. Now, I'm able to Trench Stalker and kill their Spotter Thopter. And we'll start drawing 2 cards every turn, and pretty quickly run over the game, I think, with the Blackblade Reforged. If I can get 1 hit in with the Trench Stalker, we're going to gain a lot of life. So they didn't combat Courier, which is interesting. Maybe I'll just attack with the Trench Stalker and then play a Metamorph this turn. Because I have the mana to do that. And I'd rather gain 4. Well, you know what I should do is play the Metamorph first. To see if we can copy the Trench Stalker. Hold on, I want to tap this. Well, actually I don't need to tap it. I can always combat Courier after. Alright. Yeah, hit for 4. This is kind of why I didn't want a Blackblade Reforged. In case they had some way to interact profitably. And now I have 2 creatures that are going to have lifelink next turn. So, like I said, if one of them gets in, we're going to gain a lot of life. Because I can put the Blackblade Reforged on the smaller one. And that should be enough lifelink for the game to end. Right now they have 5 damage between the Ocean Frontliner, the Air Marshal, and the Air. But not quite enough. Ooh, that is... I mean, that's starting to get there. Okay, if they have Machine over Matter, that's probably the card I have to worry about the most. Let's go ahead and put this on the 4/5. And just hit for 20. I could Epic Confrontation here, but again, if they have Machine over Matter, it's really bad. So I think it's better just attack first. And see what happens. Maybe hold back the Combat Courier. Soul Partition. Alright. So we gained 7. The question is, do I want to Epic Confrontation for another 7 life right now, or 8 life right now? I can basically race anything given enough time. So the only way I'm going to lose here, right, I think, is if I just get out-tempoed. And they're tapped out right now. And I have more removal even, so I think it's worth... I think it is worth doing this on the Zephyr Sentinel. It's just such a huge life swing. Like, even if they play, like, a Wormcoil Engine or something, we probably can grind through that because of the Blackblade Reforged. I don't need to draw an extra card, so let's just untap. Probably just gonna play a Trench Stalker this turn, right? And then I have 4 mana after that. So I should play this first in case they have the counterspell. Okay. Let's put this on, I guess the Trench Stalker, just make them have it, and then attack with the rest. Or is gaining 4 enough? Maybe gaining 4 is enough. Maybe I should just put it here. Kind of awkward I can't attack with my 3/3, but that's fine. Maybe just hold to play around Urza's Silex. Just tap the Howling Mine. And say go. I think just attack with everything here. That way we don't get as much information for the next game, and we got that one. I mean, they have a pretty nice, lean, low-to-the-ground soldier deck, so let's see. Gix's command really cleaned up that game. They have a lot of 2/1s, 1-power creatures, flyers, things like that. Maybe I want Tower Worker. It seems like a pretty good card against them. Instead of, again, I think instead of the Warplow. I think it's just a better, I think the 1/3 body is just really good against them. I could even see playing another one, depending. I don't want an extra guy as Courser. Though I think one, well, I don't even know if 1 is that good. We're not really trading that much. I think it might be kind of bad, actually. Trying to see what else we could play. It might still be the best 5-drop. I could play a Swiftgear Drake. They do have a lot of Unearth, and the 2/4 body is pretty good. Yeah, we have a lot of reach, and then we'll win with these other things. I think that's fine. Turn to Evangel, I think. Or Thraxodemon. Because I'm probably not going to attack with the Evangel immediately, and if something gets countered, I'd rather the Thraxodemon get countered. Kind of blowout. Alright, I'm pretty sure we just need to play Confrontation to kill the 3/2 flyer. And then I'm happy to trade next turn. With the Scrap Trawler. Because then we can get the Puppeteer online. And then we have Howling Mine with the Puppeteer and Evangel, so that's a good combo, obviously. Or I could Howling Mine and Evangel this turn because I drew an extra land. It helps them kind of draw into their engine with the scrap trawler, though. I don't think they can really kill the puppeteer, so playing it is not that bad. And then we could Howling my next turn. Also, I might be able to get another chance to draw the stalwart. I definitely need double green for the Rescolaz, so I should play the forest. I think I'm just going to play this and say go. And keep offering, hopefully have the trade for the Thrax Demon. I'm just going to block. They don't get anything back with the trawler, so... Well, that is pretty good if I just get rid of the cohort here. 2/4 blinks their entire board as well. I kind of want to get the Evangel and Howling Mine in play, but I don't know. This seems too good to pass up. Now the Scrap Trawler gets value off the Combat Courier, so that's unfortunate. They could also even attack with the Mutt for value. Like, they could cash in the Mutt for another card. Though I probably would block. I don't have a way to get rid of the Trawler right now. Ooh, they disenchanted that? That's good for me. The problem is if I block the Mutt, they get back the Combat Courier, they can sack it. Then when I block the Trawler, they get back the Combat Courier again. So I can block and get back a Thraxodemon. But the Howling Mine's going to basically make them take 2 every single turn for the rest of the game. So it's probably better to just take the 3, play Howling Mine and Evangel next turn. Plus, I'm going to drain them immediately. So I think no blocks. Hopefully I can get Stalwart. I can play 3/5 next turn, that's going to help a lot. They already used their disenchant, that's definitely good for me. Unless they're playing multiple, I mean, they might have boarded another one in if they have it. I could see it. Now, would I trade Evangel for their Scrap Trawler? Probably. That's less of a key piece when they have so many good blockers. Okay, that's okay. Tower Worker doing work, as is in the name. Yeah, I'm gonna block. Okay, never mind. They heard me. Yeah, they can get the 1/1 back. That's fine. I think Scrap Trawler over time is just going to get back so much value. So play 3/5 blocker here. And hopefully find a Stalwart soon. Or I could just play Tower Worker and wait to get to 10 mana. If I play Tower Worker, it locks down their whole board almost the same, so... Probably better than playing a 3/5, honestly. And we have 7, 8 right now, so we're 2 lands away. And like 3 turns away from playing a 10/10. Alright. Well, I might still play the 3/5 now that they have a 3/4. Ooh, we do Stalwart. Let's see. So I play this, or I could take 3. If I play this, then I play my land, and I play Opportunist. Yeah, we're gonna have a 10-10 next turn, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. But we'll just pass. Let the puppeteer do the work here. That is annoying. So we can take the 2, but I can block here and here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they have a pretty greatly diminished air force at this point. Okay, so the question is, I guess if I played the Puppeteer, that's going to be better than a Rest Goliath, right? Because I can just kill the Aeronaut Cavalry. Alright, I need to kill something now, because otherwise I can't after. I think we just kill the Cavalry. I assume that's the best. Now, do I want to attack with the 3-2? Probably, because what does it really block? If they tap this down... If they tap this down, I can still block with this. Oh, that's really good for me. Alright, well, yeah, I'll take that trade. As long as the game goes long, I'm going to win. So, I think they should be trying to play tempo game. And so trading the Air Marshal, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. I think I'm going to hold the star in place so I can maybe activate on their turn too. Although I boarded out my card draw on their turn. Ooh, that's a good one. I basically just have to kill that, right? They get to do that. They can't activate it immediately. They need 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 3. They can draw 3 if they have a land and play next turn. But I get to just kill the Surge Engine this turn, so we'll just do that instead. And I can even crack... I can use the star for the Power Stone Fracture, so that's really good. Alright, just keep passing. Let the Howling Mine do its thing. Back for 4. I imagine I should just play the 10-10 here. And then if I have Urza Silex exactly, then we would still have the Puppeteer to bring things back. Alright, 2-0, nice. Well, we have Stalwarts, but no Forest, unfortunately. If it was the other way around, we could keep, but we'll mulligan. And, kind of a bad hand. Well, I mean, it is a bad hand, but the question is, what do we get rid of? I'm obviously going to keep. I think we get rid of Swamp and keep the Metamorph, because if I draw Stalwart, I can basically copy a War Plow, have a 3-3. I could also just ditch the War Plow, but I can't even cast the Metamorph. I think that's a losing strategy. I think we just get rid of the Swamp. Obviously, we have to get a little lucky here. Anytime you mulligan, you have to get a little lucky. Unfortunately, our opponent is curving out. We want to play Swamp first. It gives us the most options. If I draw Evangel of Synthesis turn 2, I can play that. Or if I draw Silent Stalwart turn 2, I can play that. Alright, instead, we're just going to play a Goring Warplow. Basically trade with either of these, I think. They've played 2 premium uncommons. This is the kind of thing where it's like trade, play a Guy's Courser, and then try to use that to generate an advantage. It is a problem with our deck that we can get kind of run over, and we don't have, like, we have a bunch of 5-drops, but not a whole else going on, but that's kind of the danger of the deck. They're just passing. I'm going to play the island in case I draw another island. Unfortunately, we don't have much going on besides that. The Animist, I probably... The Animist, I'm probably not going to block that. Yeah, that's gross. Pretty good. Ooh, that was a pretty good draw, too. I'm setting these stops because I want our opponent to at least think we might have something. This is going to be a problem going late, though. Basically, their entire board is engines, so it's pretty concerning. I think we just have to block here. It's going to give them more counters. But I don't have great options. Ooh, shoot down. Well, that would have been great. Unfortunately, I already traded with the cohort. So now the recruitment officer is going to take over. We got to find an answer to these cards. I guess the answer is like Gix's command, but we can't even cast that right now. Recruitment officer are so good. But maybe it's less good in sealed. Although they have played a lot of really cheap things. So maybe their sealed pool is just super good. Very synergistic. Our sealed pool is also really good, but it's more of a typical sealed pool. We don't really have the cheap cards. Spider is a good one because it gives them 2 pieces of cardboard. Double trigger the Dissident. And it gives them more mana for the recruitment officer plus the alloy animus. So it kind of combos with their entire board. And it's another card that requires an answer, because then they can start using it as a mana sink. Though the officer also kind of does the same thing as the spider, so maybe I don't care as much about that. I mean, 3/5 kind of doing work here. Unless they have Epic Confrontation. And they didn't want to unearth, that's interesting. So I think we should shoot down the spider. And then trade with the 4/4. And then I can maybe No One Left Behind either the Warplayer or the Goliath if they die. I need to use my mana this turn. I can't just do nothing, and I don't want to bring back an Opportunist here. So if I'm going to kill something, I think it needs to be the spider. And then if I deal with the officer, then we've kind of eventually dealt with their board. But yeah, it doesn't look great. I guess if a bunch of their small creatures are they're not that overwhelming, we're okay. You know, the good news is this Warplow Rust Goliath combo is pretty strong. Because they have to make the creatures big enough to punch past the Rust Goliath, but then the Goring Warplow interacts pretty favorably with that. Okay. Yep, that's a problem. I could block and then make a 10-10 if I draw a land. However, I don't think I want to do that. Yikes. Well, I'll just pass again. We have the Remorse. If they make a 4/4, attack all, I can block, and I take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to 1. Yeah, it's kind of rough. Well, I can't block. I mean, I could block here. But that's the one I probably have to kill. But then they can just pump the Sprite. But then I could find the answer for the Sprite as well, so... Blackblade Reforged. That's not going to do it. I could bring back a 3/2 to block, but then I think I'm dead on board. If I block 2 of their creatures, well, I could chump the Sprite, but they can also make a 4/4. So I think that's all for this game. We had a pretty bad draw, and they had an incredible draw, so it's okay. But how do we position ourselves for this next one? They have a lot of like creature engines that we have to deal with, which means we do need that removal, those removal pieces. And there's sort of a build up over time type deck. I actually like a lot of what's going on here. The Warplow is actually pretty decent that game because they're on the ground, green-white. Aeronaut's Wings could be a way to go over the top, but honestly, I'm not really worried about board stalls, especially because we already played the Blackblade Reforged, so that's a way to go over the top. I don't think like Tower Worker is great in this matchup. I also don't think No One Left Behind is great in this matchup. I could cut that because it's like when we're trading off, it's not that impressive. However, I think we could just block and still use it as a game piece. Like it's not great here, but it does have the combos. And then it's still really good with my cheap things. So I think it's still probably good enough. The only other removal that would be pretty good against them is Goblin Firebomb, but it's so expensive, and I already have a lot of expensive things. Though they are playing Thran Spiders, that kind of spots as a Power Stone. So I could actually play this. It might be better than Shoot Down, which... Shoot Down would have been okay, but it kind of hits the wrong things. Or just cut No One Left Behind. It's my worst card. Maybe that's fine. I just want more removal. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'd rather cut that than a creature or another removal spell. So, let's do that. And is Aeronaut's Wing better than Blackblade Reforged in this matchup? I still don't really think so. I think because we have Trench Stalker in our deck and Tramplers, the Reforged kind of goes over the top a little bit better, and they're similar type cards. Defensively, they're both bad. I am going to keep, I have Disfigure to make the game go a little bit longer, and it's like one of the best cards versus them. Good against, it's good against all the really cheap things. Because their cheap cards are the engines I have to deal with. So Disfigure is like, I don't know, top 5 cards in the matchup or something. For my deck. And I do have all my colors, so even though it's 5 lands, maybe we'll be fine. Draw into Looter or something like that would put the hand over the top. If they play Alloy Animist, I don't think I'll kill that one. But I would kill either Yoshin Dissident on turn 2 or the other one. The officer, recruitment officer. And I mean, they're so incentivized to just play the Dissident. Yeah, I'm not going to kill that. Okay, but I'm also drawing a million lands, so that's unfortunate. Hopefully draw a creature here we can cast. Excellent, that's like the best one. Well, not the best one, but it's pretty good. We can Unearth plus Stalwart next turn, and then we'll be able to Blackblade Reforged. I am going to block this time. Because then we can draw another card. Now, if they're missing land drops and that Power Stone's really good for them, maybe that block wasn't the best, but I think getting to draw an extra card off the Rager is really good. Yeah, that is good. We're taking a beating. Dropwork Cohort is kind of the best green-white card that you can imagine. Triggers everything. More lands, huh? 2/4, super good here. I think that's better than equipping the Blackblade Reforged, because I would get a giant creature to block, but I think I'm just too far behind at that point. And I can actually just equip next turn naturally. The only problem is if they can get rid of the spider, but the removal we saw last game was Bushwhack. That's kind of the good news, is that the spider seems a little bit safe right now, based on what we've seen. Oh, that's a good combo with Phalanx Vanguard. I think I want to just trade. Oh, I'll just block the cohort then. Like the problem is if I don't trade, like if I take 4, well actually I'm gonna take 5 because of the haul. If I go to 7 and then I equip the Blackblade Reforged on the Stalwart. Then next turn they can't really attack me. Well, they can attack me and they can put me down to 4 if they attack all. But I have good blocks next turn. Because this turn I don't. And then we can start spidering. So maybe I just take the damage. I'm worried that if I trade here and then I equip, they have a spider and I don't, and the game goes long, we're going to lose. I don't know. This is pretty tricky. Oh, okay. Well, they have another play then, huh? No, they don't. Well, I'm glad I didn't trade because we drew even more lands. But like I said, we can start spidering next turn. Yeah, they could have dealt me another damage if they had hauled on their turn. The spider's going to be a big problem because they have so much mana. But I guess we also have so much mana, so it's kind of going to be a battle here. Spider battle. Ooh. I probably should just kill their spider now. And then I have a spider and they don't, and then now we're winning that war. We're pretty far from a double activate, but not actually that far. Oh, that's a problem. Kind of have to draw Gix's command so I can gain a bunch of life. Probably what I have to do. So the question is, so this is the clear block, but then do I block their cohort or do I block the vanguard? Cohort they can bring back and double trigger the vanguard, but we can block that next turn. Oh, but they could just haul this turn? Oh, I should just block the vanguard, because it's the same amount of damage. Yeah, Titania's command, still busted. Yep. Okay, let's Grand Spider, I guess. How does it want to tap? Can't even, like, see, because it's covering up the island. Well, how do I want to tap? I don't have any... Well, I have Metamorph. I guess I should leave blue up. Though I don't think it super matters, actually, because it's all artifacts. Right, so we courier, and then they attack all, and then we die. That's pretty good for us. Hashtag tagging. There's no one-mana plays I could draw there that get me out of it, so I didn't want to craft the courier, and at least this way, if I have something, it's a little scary for them. I guess this is where that Moment of Defiance would be super good. If they attack all, and then I could just gain 12 life, then I probably would win this game. So that would be pretty sweet. Unfortunately, I don't have that in my deck, and overall, and we lost to Titania's command, so you know what? That happens. That happens. Card's really good. What can I say? I guess actually we had 2 more mana, but we would have had to tap the Stalwart. So I don't... Like, if we had drawn Power Stone for actually, that wouldn't actually help us there. But we actually had 2 mana, not 1 mana. On that last turn. So yeah, there's... None of these would have saved us. Well, that was kind of a giant blowout, but they just had a really good deck, so I don't know that there's a ton we could have done. We also mulliganed and then drew literally all lands, so that's magic. I think I'm still happy with the deck how it is. All right. And is doing some things. All it's missing is the Howling Mine. Get our Stalwart down. Turn 2 we can play Star into Thraxodemon. Ooh, we could play Courier into Thraxodemon, actually. Although I also could just play Courier Star, and then just that holds off the Rock Hunter. So maybe that's a little better. Then we just pass from there. The problem with playing Thraxodemon is they get to hit me for 3 with a Rock Hunter, and oftentimes these like blue-red decks really just try to win via aggression. I am going to crack the star for black. Try to hit land drops. Play the demon. Then I can fight the wing commando. Target creature you control. And then one more land, we got our Trench Stalker online with the Thraxodemon and the Combat Courier. And wow, that's really good, but I have Shoot Down, so at least I can kill the Rock Hunter. So it's a 2 for 2, not too bad. Wow, I have Disfigure? That's probably even better than Shoot Down. Maybe I should attack with both. No, I can't do that. What if I... Yeah, I could Disfigure off of the Combat Courier. And then draw a card with it to try to hit land drops. I don't know, maybe it's better to shoot down there. Oh, okay. No. Saving the shoot down was definitely right. Instantly vindicated. It's tricky because it depends on like what play they have. Like, the reason I said maybe it was better to shoot down, if they play like Third Path Iconoclast, it's much better to have saved the Disfigure. But in general, I think there's bigger and better things to do. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll do this, and then we will unearth Combat Courier. Draw our extra card. And then finally maybe have some mana to do some other things. Well, okay, that's pretty good. If we... Even if we don't play these other things, now we can Howling Line. Oh my god.
Give me a piece of scrap and I'll win any fight.
The Healy's really good.
Aerial combat is simply elegant.
I think I just play a Rust Goliath. The problem with playing Howling Mine this turn is I don't double spell. And that'll help me get rid of Saheeli in the future. If I draw another land, I can also Howling Mine plus Trench Stalker or Gix's command.
Think swift like a Felidar.
I think I should just attack Saheeli with both. And then play Gaia's Courser. The problem is they trade with a Stalwart, but it kills Saheeli, so it turns off their Howling Mine. And then Gaia's Courser is going to start drawing us extra cards. So it looks pretty bad to make that play. But if I attack with Rust Goliath, they double chump and they still have Saheeli in play. I actually think this is a decent line.
I'm scrapping this battle.
Apparently it was a decent line. Alright. That was kind of an awkward game all around. But we got there. Awkward, but we were doing powerful things, so that's okay. Goring Warplow, definitely not good against blue-red. Maybe I just board in... I could board in another Courser because they're huge, but I think I like the Tower Worker plan again. This has been really good against a lot of these decks playing the Flyers and things. It's good against Saheeli, too. just having a blocker for all those 1/1 flyers. Now, obviously, that's usually not like you're not usually losing to Sealy because of that, but it is a component of it. The Mishra's Juggernaut that they have, it is a problem. Like, I think 5/3 is just really good against our deck, but not a ton we can do about it. Our pool is definitely a little awkward. Do I want Moment of Defiance? It's good if we're racing. They have a lot of excavation explosions, so I think the No One Left Behind is a little better than the Moment of Defiance. I could also just play another Tower Worker. It's good at trading and then gives me the mana for these anyways. But I'm a little bit worried about running out of... I could... You know what? I could put a Tower Worker in, cut this, and cut a land. Actually, it would be an island. Because then I have a lot of things that make mana. And they're all cheap. And then I get to play one more card. So that's kind of nice. Maybe the Mine Worker? Or just... let's see. Maybe Firebomb. The Firebomb kills Sahiri, so that's pretty good. Yeah, and it taps for the Stalwarts too. But it's still like I have 17 mana sources plus 2 Tower Workers to ramp into 5 if I'm drawing extra. And then I have a little bit extra to do with my mana on the draw. We get to play that on turn 2. I think that's what we want to do. I'll turn like a Power Stone Fracture, but then I just can't even play the Evangel. And the Evangel is really good at looting away all these extra lands we have. Actually, I could trade right now. Because we drew Puppeteer. Then I can bring it back later. The real question is, do I Power Stone Fracture the Wing Commando? I don't think so. But I could. That's a good one. Right, I'm going to play the Puppeteer. Well, actually, I'm going to play the Stalwart. Because then Puppeteer can block the mechanic. I'll play this first. Then I'll play this. I could have done it the reverse way and Stalwart can block the mechanic, but if they draw an extra card, it's better to do it this way. Also, if they kill the Puppeteer, then I still get to bring my creature back. That's pretty awkward. What if we Trench Stalker this turn, or Gaia's Courser, and then Power Stone Fracture to kill the mechanic? Which one's better? I give up 6 damage to do that. But if they kill anything else, then all they have is the Wing Commando here, and I don't get to play my creature that way. So I think this... No, it's better to Trench Stalker, actually. Because they're more incentivized to trade with the Trench Stalker. And then just kill the mechanic. We're definitely behind, but it gives us an out. And if they do kill one of my creatures here, then I get the Gaia's Courser online. And then the Gixian Puppeteer kind of takes off. That's kind of what I was worried about. More Sahili shenanigans.
Nature provided the blue. Look how my art hums with life.
I'm just dead on board to that, huh? They were hoping I couldn't draw cards, and they would be right. Well, if I tap out, there's... I mean, they're gonna just attack me no matter what. So, yeah, I guess they got me. There's nothing I can bluff. Other than just passing. Not really much I could have done that game, I don't think. They had a really good curve, Dr. Mechanic curving out, then into Saheeli with a bunch of prowess. I mean, this was definitely pretty bad, that game. Maybe Aeronaut's Wings is better than Blackblader Forge in the matchup because I have so much flying. Well, I have all these tower workers already, actually. So I'm not actually that worried about flying. I didn't really draw my... I just lost to more powerful cards is really what I lost to. Not really the flying. And I think this lets us go way over the top in the wings, especially against blue-red, when they have a bunch of chump blockers. I'm on the play, so I don't really want to cut the... Oh, I could cut a worker for a land. So I kind of like the way the worker works to pump out these creatures, the 5-mana creatures on turn 4. It's pretty good. Should I cut a Metamorph? Metamorph, I think, is actually cuttable, and I should play a Moment of Defiance. Because I don't have that much blue in my deck. And the way that I've positioned the matchup, I think I want to get something out early and then win a race. Yeah, I think that's a little better. Do I want the Firebomb on the play? I think the answer is still yes for my stalwarts. Definitely kind of a tough matchup. Anytime they're tempoing me, I need the right draw versus that tempo plan, and it gets a little tricky. And I think Howling Mind's like one of our best cards. Because we have so many combos with it, and it lets us keep answering their cards. Oh, ooh, there we go. Kind of tempting to play Howling Mind first, but I don't actually want to. Just get our engine online. Wait, hold on. I need to set a stop. I think it's going to skip my turn. Yeah, we do take 3 here, which kind of sucks. As long as I can just not die. I guess had we played the Howling Mind first, we would have had one more draw step at this point. But then I still would have just played the Stalwart. Not like that would be that great. Oh, our plan. Our beautiful plan. Well, now I don't really need the Stalwart. So I'm happy to trade it off for the Rock Hunter. I think we should just remorse that. The question is, do I do it now or later? If they have a counterspell, there's a reason to do it now. I don't know, playing Rager is fine. But honestly, waiting on the Rager is actually pretty good because if I can play Trench Stalker next turn, then I can play the Rager after, and then we get our whole plan online. Unfortunately, I didn't draw land. But Gix's command is going to be good against the Juggernaut. I think what we're going to do, let's trench stalker here. And then I can double block. That's pretty good. I do that, and then I just block like this. I can make them sack the Coilless Rock and bring 2 things back. I go to 8, and I'm not dead at that point. Other options are... Well, if I trade with the Juggernaut... I have to trade with the Juggernaut, is the problem. Otherwise, I'm just gonna die later to it. Maybe I'm supposed to Gaia's Courser this turn. If I Gaia's Courser, I can put counters on it next turn. If I go to 1. If they unearth Juggernaut, they have 2 mana after that. If I Gigas' command this turn, I have nothing going on, and then I play the Gaia's Courser. Whereas their plan might be to get me low next turn and then kill me with an explosion. Explosion, they need a land plus explosion exactly. Now they do have explosion in their deck. But I think I need to get this down. Because then I'm going to have lifelink the next 2 turns in a row. Oh wait, no, I'm just going to... They can just unearth. And I just have to block. Whoops. I thought I had 1 more life. Yeah, that was not good. Yeah, whoops. For some reason I thought I could go to 1. Nope. Should have just Gix's commanded. So this is, honestly, this is not the end of the world. Because I get to bring back this and this. And I have a firebomb in play. Maybe actually this was fine. That sucks. I think I need to kill it because I can't let them explosion my face. I'm gonna play both. And then try to try to gain some life here. No take flights. Not allowed. Think attack both. I would gain 8 life. And if I draw a land, I can play a 5-drop here. Other option is scrapwork. Well, if I just attack with the Stalker, they're just going to take it. So that doesn't do that much. So I think attack with both, yeah, and hope to rip a land. And if I miss, then we can race still. That wasn't too bad. It would have been better if I drew a land, obviously. But that does help swing the race. Alright, now I think let's play Courser and Stalwart. See, because now I'm ahead in the race. So, like, yeah, I didn't draw the land there, but I have the Rager to give us lifelink and menace next turn. And they're one short of take flight plus excavation explosion. That was a pretty crazy match. Not gonna lie. But we pulled it out. This is a tricky hand. Because I have the double black for Gix's command, I'm tempted to keep, but a lot needs to go right for this hand. Maybe I should still mulligan. It doesn't actually do anything. Like, it looks powerful. But if I had a forest or an island instead of the second swamp, it's actually a better hand, even though it looks worse. Because if I draw stalwarts, I actually just can't do anything. So I think I still need to mulligan. Kind of the same hand. But I'm not going to go to 5. At least this one, maybe I can loot into something better. I'm just going to get rid of the no one left behind. No, I'm going to get rid of the Gaia's Courser, I think. Hopefully get lucky, loot into, like... If I can loot into a big thing and then no one left behind it, like, that would be the way this hand really pans out. More big things, huh? That actually gives them mana with the energy refractor, so it's like they can freely loot, or they can freely filter into new colors. I'm still just gonna block, I think. 2 4s were made for blocking. Yeah, I can play Confrontation on the Juggernaut. That's pretty good. They're tapped out. And then I can just keep blocking. I have the Gix's command for later. I'd like to shoot down the Juggernaut, but obviously I can't. And I can't just keep taking 5, so... I'll do this. And I don't want to trade damage here. I think we're favored in the long game. Lava axe to the face. There's our land. Kind of nothing to do with it though. All right, we'll keep passing. Yeah, that's a thing to kill. Kill their 6/5. And keep on passing. Still just gonna block. Alright, if we star here... I'm going to filter into blue. If I draw a land that can cast Remorse, I'm probably just going to Remorse the Juggernaut. I could also double block, but it's pretty risky. Like, the Evangel gets strained in my hand, but we do have Sentinels that we can draw into. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Remorse. And keep passing. Like I said, the longer this game goes, I think the better for us. I could no one left behind the spider, but I think I'm going to start with this. And I might no one left behind the spider anyways after that. Because it's going to be... I think that's going to be a good use of the no one left behind. It's going to let us get the Blackblade Reforged online soon. I think it's huge. I'll take it. We can Gix's command for counters and kill it. So let's do that. I think I'm going to put the counters on the spider rather than the Rager. They exiled it, so I don't have to worry about it coming back from the graveyard. That's good. And I think I just play this too. It's going to take our basically our whole turn next turn to do that. Wow. They've got some good cards. We do too, of course. We just played Gix's command. They have a bunch of fire breathing. So we're kind of at a standoff until one of us can break through the board stall. I think I'm gonna crack this. And then I'm gonna equip my... Well... Yeah, I'm gonna crack this and equip my spider. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 11, 12. I could attack. They could do me 12 next turn. But then, if they play something small, I can disfigure it. What if they have Excavation Explosion? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They can't... well, if they have Mountain Explosion, it could kill me. I kind of think it's worth attacking, because they can't kill me in one crackback. It's going to take a long time for me to be able to move the Blackblade Reforged and block. Like, we each are close to 2-turn clocks. It's pretty tenuous. The problem is, if either of us draws a removal spell, the game just ends on the spot. But I'm the first one to get to attack. So I kind of want to put that into the position of ending the game. Now, if they play anything that can't be disfigured, it's a problem. But yeah, they just have to jump. But that's pretty good for us. Let's Rager, and then we can... Actually, hold on. If they have Gaia's Gift, and I Rager, and I go to 13. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They still need another land. So I think it's worth... And I have Disfigure to gain life. I can -2, -2, so I don't die. Yeah, so I can definitely do this and attack. don't think I want to play a Warplow. They can't steal this to kill me, so that's good. Finish out, sure. And I think that's probably it for this one. Nice. Yeah, because they would have done something else. They probably had a land as their last card. Well, that was a pretty intense one. We were really far behind, but we just had a ton of removal. We just killed everything they had, and Blackblade Reforge was really good. Obviously, Gix's command was also really good. They have the dragon. Shootdown's great. We trade a lot, so I think that's still good. Green-red, they have a lot of ground creatures in them still, so I think this is still good, though it's pretty bad against the green-red uncommon. But then again, so is Stalwart, so I can't really play around that card very well. If they have it, I mean, we didn't see it, but they probably have one in their deck if they're playing green-red specifically, although they're also kind of just playing Jund. They have a lot of Mishra's Juggernauts. Again, that card's kind of tough for my deck to deal with. Mishra's Juggernaut. I do have the shoot down. I do have the overwhelming remorses, so it's kind of the nice clean answer. It worked out that we had those that game. This card's kind of a junker, but if we do trade it off and no one left behind, it's really hard for them to deal with it unless they have the removal spell immediately. Like I said, they do have the spider to kill anything. Yeah, I think this is solid. I think I like our main deck in the matchup overall. It's not any changes we would make would be pretty marginal, I think. Maybe the Moment of Defiance, but I'm not convinced we're necessarily racing. Like, it can be pretty grindy. Like, that game was so grindy. Speaking of grindy, maybe Mesmeric Orb's good in a grindy matchup, but I think it's not really. I think that's going a little too deep. Okay, well, we have the combo. We have the Mind Puppeteer. Hopefully we draw Stalwart. This is really good against red-green, playing this on turn 1 because they have a lot of 3/1s in that archetype. I'm just going to Howling Mine here. Hopefully we can draw into Stalwart, and hopefully that's going to be good. Well, there is the Arbalest Engineers we were talking about. They do get 2 draw steps here, so if they were hoping to draw into a land, they get multiple shots at it. They're doing Power Stone or hit my courier. It's kind of interesting, actually. Or they could just bash me. They think that's good. Killing my courier might actually be the weakest thing right now. Yeah, that kind of makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we drew the Stalwart, and do I want to play Stalwart plus Blackblade Reforged, or Stalwart plus Chromatic Star, or Stalwart Chump? Stalwart Chump is pretty good too, because then it gets our courier in the graveyard, and we can play Puppeteer. Yeah, I like Stalwart Chump. Our friend the spider is back. I think we Puppeteer to get back the Stalwart here. Then we can start tapping the Howling Mine, and we can also get it back with the No One Left Behind. So they can't really attack us. But if they just sit back, then we have the Puppeteer with the Howling Mine to combo off. So either way, we're kind of happy. We've both drawn a lot of cards. They have 8 in hand right now? That's a lot of cards. We're gonna have 8 in hand too. It's hard to race, I think. I'm pretty sure we do Epic Confrontation and play a Spider. Puts them really far behind. And then it gets us close to being able to... Well, the problem with playing Spider is it might put them into Boulder Branch Golem territory, but it also gets us close to Blackblade Reforged territory. So I think overall it's a good thing. And it's going to buy us some time here. Like to just... I guess it empowers a... I don't really have a better play. I guess I could No One Left Behind in Chromatic Star. Maybe that's better. I guess actually that's better than Spidering. Just turning off the Howling Mine, like, they're gonna have to answer this, right? And if I Spider, it gives them mana for the Research Desk and Aeronaut's Wings. So now I have 2 must-answer threats. What the other problem, though, is that now it's kind of easy for them to kill the Puppeteer. Yeah, maybe this was bad. And then I do the Stalwart anyways. Well, I can actually use... Let's see. Let's try and turn this into a green. I kind of need to find an answer here. Hopefully I can draw, like, Power Stone Fracture. There we go. There we go. Okay. Can also play this. I think sacrifice the Rager and attack. Okay. This requires 9 mana to just put right into play. But we do almost have that. So I have Titania with the Overwhelming Remorse. But I could Gaia's Courser. I could Gaia's Courser here. And I think pass. Because then I have Courier plus Remorse. Because I have 4 mana, so I can do both. Depending on what they want to pump up. I could also disfigure if they go for the Opportunist. But yeah, let's just pass and win with the Howling Mine here. And we know they have 2 Juggernauts, so, I mean, being able to remorse the Juggernaut would also be pretty good. If they play one of those. I'm going to disfigure it, gain 4. It really depends, like, yeah, it depends what giant thing they play here. If they play something big, I'll probably remorse rather than sack the combat courier. Because I'm probably going to untap and reforged. Yeah, I think I just killed their 6/5. The best use of my mana. And I mean, now I have the option. Oh, you know what I could do? I could Gix's command, make them sack, gain life, sacrifice my combat courier. That's probably the best play here. Because then I draw another card. And I think I'm just going to attack with both and play the Blackblade Reforged. I have 14 cards left. A ton of power in play. Like, maybe Howling Mine has struck again. And they hit one too. Yeah, give back Titania. Or Arbalest Engineers. Wow. That was a good turn. They could even blow up my Blackblade Reforged. I hope they don't do that. Though I have a 6/7, so that still attacks pretty well, and I can win with other things. Yeah, that was a really good turn. So I need to draw some more answers here, I think, before I attack. So I'm just going to build up my board this turn. One, two, three, four. Well, I think I'd rather use the... I'd rather go look for an artifact. Probably try to find my Rest Goliath here. I'm not going to attack. It's a pretty bad trade. We have the Shoot Down on the bottom, Argothian Opportunist. Shoot Down's really the main card that's on the bottom right now. But it's a random order. But we know the bottom 4 have a Shoot Down. Powerstorm Fracture is a problem. I guess they have a Juggernaut too. Is that what they flipped? And they flipped 2 good cards. At least they can't use both. Okay. Warplow is good. I could have chumped there. Maybe I should have. So I think the Stalwart's producing mana right now is pretty solid. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have. Let's see. I can just play this. And I can also Thrax a Demon, tap my mine, and attack. Oh, I could even attack this turn and then draw another card. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's do that. Let's attack with a combat courier. And then tap the... Let's see. If they kill the Warplow, what do I want to chump with? Because I want to chump with the Thraxodemon. I'll tap the Evangel. Alright. Now we're drawing some big things. That's good. Definitely a race. Really want my Rust Goliath. Oh, no attacks. Interesting. There it is. So if I attack with the Evangel, they can double block. But I can also attack with the Warplow then. So that's still good. I'm going to attack with both. So I can gain some life. But that's fine. Alright, let's just pass. I don't think I want to make a 3-3. Oh, maybe I do. What if I just play Hulking Metamorph copying Evangel this turn? It's pretty good, actually. Then I don't have to wait a whole nother turn. Because I'm drawing 2 cards next turn, so I'm down to 4. And then 2 cards the following turn. So I only get 2 more attacks, and maybe... I go to 5, and then I go to 3. Then I go to 1, then I go to 0. So I think I only have 2 more turns, so I might as well just play this. Because it pressures really hard. Although I could just make a 7/7 trample next turn and I get 1 more. I guess I go to 4 to 2 to 0. Yeah, that's better. I don't actually want to draw any extra cards this game, so I'll just pass. Okay. Kind of an awkward hand because we can't play the Evangel, but we do have a lot of other 1s and 2s we can draw, and then maybe ramp into the Rager. Plus we're on the draw. So I'm going to keep this. Obviously if we draw like Howling Mine, it's the best ever. But even if not, like if we draw a 3-drop, we can then curve into the other cards. And Trench Stalker with Evangel is going to be very good. So we have a little bit of time to set up. Not ideal. Oh, that was a good draw. It does help ramp them with Energy Refractor in the sense that now they can have other colors to work with. But I think that's okay. I'm kind of bluffing like a Disfigure or a Giant Growth there by pausing for a split second. I don't know if it's that useful, but at least if it forces them to think about things. So next turn, probably just playing a Trench Stalker. Having Thran Spider back. Curving into some card draw. Right. Hopefully I don't have another removal spell here. Well, that one is pretty good. I'm going to start with Evangel, I think, because it can attack through multiple things. And I can just discard the... Well, I could discard the Rager, though I don't love that. What's their plan? They have a lot that they could do. You know, the only reason I mentioned discarding the Rager is then I could have Overwhelming Remorse up at the same time in case things go wrong. Which actually does provide quite a bit of value. But then I have fewer turns of actually just drawing extra cards, so I don't think it's actually good. I'm just gonna attack with the Stalker here. Alright. And now I'm gonna pass. I think holding the Rager for our draw 2 engines is better. So that we can keep triggering this every single turn. Playing it next turn doesn't do a whole lot. Or sorry, playing it the turn we just had doesn't do a whole lot. Attack with this, but not this. So they just want to loot away a card. I think I'm fine with that. Alright, so now we Rager. And attack. Oh, looking pretty good. Gix's command, as usual, would be a blowout. Wipe our entire board, but barring that, we're likely to be okay. Alright, do I use my own Gix's command here? Put 2 counters on the Evangel, swing with everything. I mean, it just wins the game, so I think we should probably go for it. Alright, cool. Got that one. We had a pretty awkward draw. We had a pretty good draw. Not like the most insane draw, but enough to get the job done, it looked like. Going Warplow against White-Black. It's okay, but not great. We are on the draw, so it being another 2 that we can play and trade with is pretty solid. I really like Gaia's Course here, usually in White against like these grindy matchups. I don't know how grindy they are, though. And they did have some prison sentences as the removal. So if we can't get the creatures in the graveyard, that it's a little bit worse. So I don't know that I want to bring in the second one. This card is good against prison sentence if they have a bunch of that effect. Again, I mean, there's nothing crazy in our sideboard that we could play that's going to be that good, I think. I think Blackbird Reforge, again, is going to be better than Aeronaut's Wings here. So I'm reasonably happy with this. The Metamorph I'm not sure about. That's probably like the one card we could cut. But if the game goes really long, then having the 9-drop in the deck provides a lot of value. I don't know if we're like grindy or fast. It kind of depends how Moment of Defiance plays. If it ends up being good, we can bring it in for the play in game 3. Yeah, again, kind of awkward, but I mean, not a hand you can mulligan. Again, if I can find like a 2 or 3 drop, I can ramp into my Rust Goliath. And go from there. I don't think I can attack an ambush paratrooper here. I'm going to play my island and pass. I might miss out on 1 damage, but it's so bad if they have paratrooper. Like, we didn't see it game 1, but I mean, they could have easily just not drawn it. And then, alright, well, they're having a lot better draw than they had last game, weren't they? And the bombs have arrived. Here is the Gix's command. Unfortunately, I can't cast this Metamorph. I needed to draw, like, a cheaper card. On the bright side, the command can kill the Seraph later. Though, if they start playing big creatures, that's not even true. Our hand was slow and did not develop well. Alright, attack for 1, I guess. Jeez. Alright, well, hopefully this works out. We have the Disfigure for backup. Hopefully I can block the Juggernaut. They pump with the Paratrooper. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Kill their Paratrooper, I guess. Not exactly going great. But buys us a turn. That was a good draw. I'm still gonna attack, I think. I have so much headway to make that if they... I mean, if they just unearth the Juggernaut, I am gonna lose, but I'm gonna lose to other things too. So I think I'm just gonna attack here. If they had 1 more land in play, I might not because of Energy Refractor. Oh, that's a good one. I keep saying that's a good one, but it's because they keep being good ones. If they go for the pump, at least I can time walk them. Okay. I'm gonna attack and play a Stalwart, and next turn I can make a 7/7 Rager. I think that's the right play. Again, the Mishra's Juggernaut's just sitting there, but... I kind of need to end this game, even though they're at 25. Worth killing a 6/6? Maybe. So I could just do that next turn. Only really bad if they have, like, aeronaut wings or something. Yeah, that's bad too. I have to trade my whole board. Oh, okay. Well, they had multiples. I can still live, but it's pretty bad for me. I have to double jump. They put one on top. Well, they kind of had it all, didn't they? They had multiple disenchants? Yeah, they did. Good. That's kind of good to know about. I'm a little bit worried about, like, Howling Mine, for example. They have 2 disenchants in their deck. The Rest Goliath plan's also a lot worse, if that's the case. I wonder if I can cut my artifacts. Is that crazy to do? I can strand the 2 disenchant. I don't mind if they disenchant like a 2/2, but I can cut like the rest of them. Just play like Moment of Defiance. I mean, I can just play a bunch of other cards if they're playing all these disenchants. I think the Howling Mine just like, yeah, the plan's just not going to work most of the time. We still have the 13 creatures. I don't know, maybe this is going too deep. Excuse me. I don't really seem to have a ton of ways to interact. I could also just Tanos' Tinkering. I don't actually hate that. Since most of the removal is like disenchant based. They do have some other removal. Actually, I think Ashnod's Intervention is just a better version of that. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. Kind of go more aggro this way. I think I'm just just gonna kill that. I can crack the star next turn, like if I don't draw a land drop. So I'm gonna attack. And then second main, I'm gonna crack the star. If I draw a land, I'm just gonna play the Skull Flare. I'm gonna crack it for blue. Yeah, I'm just gonna play the Skull Flare and attack. Dang. They do have some bombs. Let's just... I think we should sack the courier to try to hit our land drops and then play... excuse me, the guy's courser. The problem with doing that, though, is that I can't shoot down the next play with the courier gone. So... maybe that's not actually worth doing. Although if I just draw a land, then I have the mana for the shoot down. And the courier's kind of losing effectiveness. Yeah, I think overall that's good to do. If they steal Seraph here, it's kind of a blowout, but at least I can kill the Seraph. Alright, so if I attack, they're gonna block, but I can Moment of Defiance, and I think that's worth doing. Basically, I get rid of a counter by doing so. Like a counter from the Siege Veteran. And we do Power Stone Fracture, that's great. So if I draw a land, I can Opportunist plus Power Stone Fracture. Though, actually, maybe now I just shoot down the Steel Exemplar. Because Epic Confrontation doesn't do anything here. Yeah, hopefully they flood out here a little bit. I'm kind of out of things to do. Or not things to do, but they have so much pressure that I can't handle much else these next couple turns because I'm still playing catch-up. Ooh, that's actually really good for me because now I can Power Stone Fracture it away. And at least they already recommissioned here. That's good. I kind of want to... If I Epic Confrontation first, they get a 1-1. But then they can't use the Officer. But I think it's probably better just Power Stone Fracture and Opportunist. I'm not really sure. The thing about... Also, if I Epic Confrontation later... It's going to be a lot... I don't know. It's going to be a lot better, but... If they play like Steel Exemplar, I have an out. But I don't really know how to beat Recruitment Officer as is right now. It's a 4-3. So maybe I just give them the 1-1. It kind of sucks to do that, but I don't see a great option here. Like, if they just play another bomb after, I'm just going to have to draw another answer, because they basically played, like, insane cards I can't deal with every single turn. Jeez. Yep, well. I don't know, Siege Veteran's really hard to stop. Basically need our overwhelming remorse. Excuse me. I'm going to trade here because then it sets up our Guy's Courser. And then maybe we can draw into some more answers. Fun though. We've won a lot of games off of Gixon's Command, which is an unbeatable card. Wow, their deck's really good. So we've won some games with some rares. Our opponents have won some games with some rares. That's kind of how it's going. Guess I'm gonna attack. If I play two things, I am dead on board, unfortunately. Well, hopefully they don't realize that. I'm pretty sure they will. But I think the end of our tournament is right here. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna take the siege veteran down with me. The last thing I do. And it was the last thing. Oh well. I really was thinking maybe we'd get there. I've never actually qualified for day 2 on one of these things. Like I said when I started, very difficult to do. You just don't have a lot of wiggle room for losses. That being said, I think we gave it we gave it a pretty good run. 4-2, not the worst record. And just a lot of bombs in this format, tough to deal with. And it is what it is. So I think, overall, we had a pretty decent deck. It probably was above average. Like having the Gix's Command alone kind of puts it into that above average camp. But we definitely played some pretty busted decks. Like every single deck we played had a bomb. So we were on pretty even footing. And, that's how the matches played out. So whatever the next thing is, I will see you next time. And thanks for watching.